Hey guys, it's Winter, and I saw some people doing banlist predictions this banlist season. I figured since I know lots of people, several people, at least people that work at Konami, I'd give my a little prediction here, and this is guaranteed to be the most accurate prediction because I do know people in the industry actually making these decisions. So let's get right into it. First off, Castura is actually fine. The ban list after this one is probably gonna hit Castura, so they don't feel a need to hit it in this upcoming ban list. Castura is totally fair and also balanced. It's just a really test of skill when you rise hard pass. I think it's very strong, but still within the realm of like, this is reasonable. Something that's not reasonable though. Tillaments, they gotta go. Tillaments still sees tournament play, so therefore it's way too strong and also a deterrent to Yugi boomers, which is of course Konami's main source of income. So Tillaments have to go. It's just a financial decision, a gameplay decision, just a good person decision. And the card I have here, I think they will hit is Sheeran, and there's a few reasons for this. First of all, it's a level 4 that can be special summoned, which really enables Tillaments to go into these rank 4 plays that are really just oppressive. Stuff like Time Thief Redoer, really, really strong card. Basically, there's no counterplay to that, so I think for that reason, hitting level 4 makes sense. This also limits the Tillaments' milling power, so they mill less cards, and also it reduces the amount of times they can fusion to summon in a single turn. So I mean, that really brings Tillaments' power down to like something more reasonable. After this hit, your deck will look something like 3 Pearlino the field spell, 3 Rhino Heart, a Merly, and a Havness, and then a bunch of like Shadal and Invoked cards, which is really how the deck is intended to be played. Um, yeah, so that's I think they're gonna hit Sheeran. Next hit, more tier hits actually. Planet Pearlino, this guy is insane. So even with the Sheeran hit, tier is way too consistent because you can just activate the field spell and you just get any tier name you want. So obviously this card has been a problem and it's got to go. Uh, yeah, this just makes it too consistent, and also this helps prevent some Vsauce soup decks. You throw in some Scarecrows, throw in some Tillaments, throw in the new archetypes, some Kashtira stuff, and 3 copies of Vsauce, you have a deck. This helps limit the ceiling on those decks, so it only makes sense to hit Primeval Planet Pearl. And so now after this, your Chillment deck profile will look like 3 Rhino Heart, a Merly, a Havness, and then a bunch of fusion support, which is really how the deck is intended to be played, I think. Um, this next hit, probably controversial, but, you know, Rune Fountain banned. Yeah, let's talk about Rune Fountain. So this card kind of breaks the rules of the game by allowing you to play quick play spells from your hand during your opponent's turn, and not just during your own turn. This is just blatantly unfair. It just changes the rules of the game for one player. You might, I mean, there's Runic defenders out there who say, "Oh, this card is fair. You can only do Runic quick plays from your hand." But my counter argument is that the Runic quick plays are the ones that you actually want to be playing. They have a targeted negate and monster destruction, spell trap removal, and all of the cards are also a special summon during the opponent's turn, actually. So all these cards are really unfair. And can we just talk about like you draw 3 on your opponent's turn, then you draw 3 on your turn. You could even be draw 6 on your turn if you just have a second fountain, because that's a soft once per turn effect. This is way too powerful. It needs to be banned. But that's just my opinion. You see, I tricked you. I lied. I don't think Runic Fountain is actually the one to be hit. I think instead, Konami's going to leave Runics entirely alone, and instead we're going to hit Naturia Sunflower. I mean, it's way too powerful. Look at the effect. You tribute a monster to negate a monster effect. I saw this in like one deck list at one, and I said, yeah, this is what they're going to hit. It only makes sense because there's a other Naturia card that replaces a tribute with Mail from deck, and if you're hitting Sacred Tree, you're hitting more Runic quick play cards. It's just way too powerful. I think Naturia Sunflower is the hit they're gonna go with, and yeah, that's the only hit that's gonna come to Runic Naturia deck. The only hit that's gonna come to Runic Naturia deck. Next hit, this might come as a shock as well, but uh, Grapha Dragon Overlord 2/1. Does this make sense? No. If you're unaware, the Dark World deck will combo for approximately 30 minutes, and then as soon as you start your turn, activate this effect, discard Neko Main King, and skip your turn. And then it just kill you on their first attacking turn. The other thing this deck does is they will burn you with Coach King Giant Trainer. You can detach material, burn for 800, whatever. And then they'll continue to combo for the remainder of the round, so they win on time rules. Both these strategies are very degenerate, and putting Dragon Overlord to 1 doesn't fix this, but allows Konami to say, look, we hit, this really absurd deck. The correct hit here is obviously Neko Main King, but Konami's not going to hit that. Next, we have Snatch Steel to 1, actually. There's a lot of reasons for this. I mean, we've gotten a lot of these control cards kind of taken off the ban list. We think Brain Control, we think Change of Heart has been their most recent one, and stirred up a lot of internet buzz, which I think is kind of the idea of letting Snatch Steel go back to 1. This is, in my opinion, the most powerful stealing card. You can make the argument like, yeah, it's weak because if they destroy a field spell, they get it back. But that forces an interaction. That's still good. And if they don't deal with Snatch Steal, this has no restrictions on what the monster can do. The monster you take can still attack your opponent. It can still be used as link material, tributes, XYZ, whatever it is. Like, it can still be used as material for everything. There's no restrictions whatsoever on the monster you take. So this coming back to 1 is the most powerful one, but it's still like, who cares? Speaking of who cares, on probation, Blaster. This has come back in the OCG and in Master Duel to no fanfare whatsoever. I think until like Tidal Redox, all the Dragon Rulers are back together. It's not going to matter. No one cares. Dragon League will try to make it work and fail miserably. So look forward to that. In quarantine, Konami's been on a streak of changing cards, putting cards on the semi-limit list that I think can maybe come back. And I think the one that's going to come off this list is easily Daigusto Emerald. I don't know this card, and no one knows this card does. I think Konami forgot about it. They put it there for some reason, probably like an FTK with normal monsters. It's fine to come back. I don't think putting it to 2 will do anything, and that's why I think this will be their pick to bring back to 2. Speaking of 2, Recital Starling, no longer on the list. Yeah, this is a change that's obvious to everyone. It does nothing. We banned all the good birds. It no longer does things. It can come back. Okay, so now we gotta listen here, right? I have contacts at Konami, so I know you might not believe this next part, but this is where my banlist prediction really shines, right? Because I know the stuff that other people will never be able to predict. So, this upcoming banlist will be the first ever, in celebration of 25th anniversary, the first ever Konami poll. They will poll the community on what card they want, on one card they want banned, and one card they want taken off the Forbidden Limited list. Obviously, the community vote will be for Rhino Heart to be banned. Tillaments, even with the Field Spell ban and Sheeran ban, are just way too consistent. If you can just normal summon Rhino Heart, like literally Rhoda for Rhino Heart, normal Rhino Heart, you get any tier, right? It's still way too powerful. Banning this reduces the consistency down, so it's back to like a normal level with other decks like Castura Zone Lock kind of strategies, right? So your Tillament deck list will look something like one Havness, one Merly, these Shizu cards, and then just a bunch of Shadal and Invoke stuff, which again is how the deck is really intended to be played. And we already know if this is the hit, the community also gets an unhit. We all know what the unhit is going to be, right? Like, we can all agree that the unhit is going to be Pin Best Deck, let's go!